think it actually worked. I think it worked. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Liam, and I used to do sit and talk videos, and they take forever. So I thought we'd try and venture into the world of live streaming. And before I get going, I wanted to dispel a myth that's out there. So an individual decided he'd call me a bit of an imitator. In fact, I think he's in the YouTube chat right now. Big shout out to Hellstorm Mikey. I may have named this show yesterday when I set the stream up, and I may have called it just the 40k show. I thought, well, I don't know what I'm going to call it. I wanted a fancy name. I had never really come up with proper, decent, fancy names before for live chats. I mean, we used to be called Two Beards, One Chat on Twitch, and if you get the reference, you're probably a bit disgusted in me. So I just called it the 40k show. And Mikey may have called me out on his Discord because he has been calling his show the 40k show on YouTube and Twitch for the last year plus. So if you haven't seen Mikey's show before, head on over to Hellstorm Wargaming, click subscribe to his YouTube channel. He puts tons of content out there, and he is brilliant for the community, brilliant for content producing in general. And you can go and follow him on Twitch and stuff, and I urge you to sub to him Twitch and sub to him on YouTube and just keep him going because Mikey's a legend. So sorry, Mikey, for copying your name, and at the moment I've got alerts going on all over the place. I assume this is probably because I haven't done this for a long time. So thanks, Datsun, for the host. Welcome, Rich, to the channel as a member. So you guys know there are lots of ways in which you can support the channel. Loads of ways, in fact, you can support the channel. And part of this is because I'm really close to leaving the factory and joining people like Mikey and doing content creation full time. So this is kind of part of this, right? So I figured that I might try and generate some support and revenue for the channel and for the stream this way in the hope that I can get out and start helping Winters with DZTV sooner. If you don't know what DZTV is, ! DZTV in the chat, and it should bring you up a link to Deployment Zone, and that's a website that we have where we kick out tons of 40k content. Winters puts out battle reports every single week. Chris and I do the Endless Cacophony podcast on DZTV every single week. Play, and I've got a series in there called Tomb World, which is incredible. And we've got loads of content going on there soon. We've got another podcast joining DZTV really soon, and I'm talking to some other people about putting content in there too. And I won't put spoilers in there, but some of them are quite big people, so I'm super excited by it. I can't keep up with the chat at the moment. I'm sure I will get to it at some point, but thank you every single person who's joined me on this first live stream. And the intent is that we do this every Monday at 9 o'clock for at least an hour. So if it's a car crash and no one's chatting to me, then it'll be maybe an hour. And if it's really good, we'll keep going for a bit longer, and hopefully we can talk about all things 40k. Perfect. Right. So big welcome to everyone in the chat. Like I said, thank you to everyone who has followed, liked, subscribed so far. If you are a Amazon Prime user, you can connect Amazon Prime on Twitch and you can subscribe for free, like Big Datsun Des just has. Look at that. Look at that for timing, just to prove. So he's a resubscriber. Thank you very much. You can join the channel by hitting the link below, which gives you some benefits as well. I think you get some emotes and stuff. I'm just setting all this up this weekend, and Mohawk Miniatures J said that it's a deep rabbit hole to tumble into to start setting a stream up, and he wasn't wrong. It is a humongously deep rabbit hole, and I've got a deck now that I never had before. I've got fancy things that I can do, so we can look at sub goals on Twitch, and I can press a button and it pops up and tells you that my sub goal isn't working right now. Brilliant. So we've got subscribers, that's not working, but you know, so we can do it with the YouTube member status. That's actually working, this one. So there you go. I've already got a link to fix. We've been here for 5 minutes. Right, okay. There's also, I've noticed, a Nightbot thing for stopping people from spamming emotes, which might be a bit aggressive right now. So yeah, Immersive Worldcraft just told me I need to lose it already. I need to play with this. This is the first time I've ever used that tool. So maybe people like, Melky can help me. Oh, please help me. But like I said, thanks everyone for joining us. This is going to be like my sit and talks I was doing on YouTube, but instead of just editing it heavily and having a 15-minute video, I'll talk about what I want to talk about for a bit, and then hopefully get your guys' opinions on what I'm talking about, so that you guys can I guess give me some things to talk about rather than me just sat how off and on. So the first thing I want to talk about is also not stolen from Mikey's stream, but I want to talk about the model releases in 40k at the moment. So we all know that Dominion is dropping in AOS and looks like it could be popular, and the model range in AOS has been shouted about by a lot of people for a long time. So the model range for 40k has also had a ton of releases over the last few years. We've seen a complete new release of Space Marines in terms of the Primaris range. We've seen almost a complete new release of Necrons. And it was interesting because there's a lot of model ranges out there in the 40k universe that just haven't had an update for a very long time. I'm looking at things like Eldar Aspect Warriors that aren't Howling Banshees. I'm looking at Catachans. I'm looking at lots of fine casts that still exists that quite frankly shouldn't. So we stuck a poll on YouTube yesterday, right? And we asked, are they getting it right? Yes, generic. Are they getting it right? Kind of, but they're doing it on the wrong model range. So the models are good, but it's the wrong ranges that they're focusing on. Or no, they're not getting it right at all. Or I wish I played AOS was the fourth option. Now, luckily, they're not getting it right at all. That was I think it was like 1% last time I checked. But the yes, they're getting it just right flat was around 30%. And the yes, they're getting it right, but they're doing it for the wrong model range, that was a huge 60%, which is super interesting. So what we're saying is, their model range, the model range that they're updating is good, but they're not focusing on the right model range. And I wondered if this was a direct reflection of the recent release that we've had or the recent announcement we had. So we have seen on the community page recently that they're now updating the Orc model range as well. So the question is, do Orc boys need it? Which I think is probably a yes. But did they need it before other model ranges in the 40k sort of space? So did they need their refresh before, say, Dark Reapers or Striking Scorpions, or I'm talking Elder Aspect Warriors clearly right now, but there's loads of things out there, things that are currently fine cast type models. Did the Orcs need a refresh before them? Now, Orc players are clearly going to say yes. They're clearly going to say absolutely Orcs needed a model refresh. But I think there's a strong argument that other models in the 40k universe probably needed models before Orc boys did. And when they're getting Snagger boys anyway, did they need the Orc boys as well? It's interesting. So I'm kind of interested to know what the chat thinks. Like, do you guys think that Orc boys needed to come out now? Do you think that what we probably should have had was another Primaris Lieutenant? Because, I mean, why wouldn't you kick out another Primaris Lieutenant? And actually, Rez has just said that in the chat as well. Or should they have focused on things like Eldar Aspect Warriors? Now, there's a huge, I think, push from the community to bring out, I want to say refresh guard ranges, but I think they may have smashed it out the park with that Cadian upgrade, right? That new Cadian sprue that is brilliant. In fact, they sent me that to review, and I haven't. And I haven't reviewed it because, for me, that was a real piss take of the community. Here, have some new guard models. Actually, they're not new guard models. There's some heads and some special weapons. I think that was horrendous. I don't think that was a very good choice at all. In fact, I think that was absolutely dreadful as a choice. And I hope that they don't do that in future for model ranges. I just don't think that's a strong choice. I mean, let's face it, the Cadian kit is kind of tired anyway. So I don't think that's very great for the community in general. Like, that's an old kit and just sticking some new heads on it. Is it good? I mean, it's better than nothing. Do people love that? I guess they probably wouldn't. And when you see what they're kicking out with the Age of Sigmar range, I suggest that's probably a much better choice. So that's just my 5 pence. Great to see what people think. Before we get to those, we'll go to the monumental number of notifications that come through. So thanks everyone for the follows. Aussie Jackknife, Mr. August, and Nihilus Vars. Thank you guys for the follows. That's amazing. Thanks for the super chat, Mick Lee. You are an absolute legend. Great to see me live. It's been ages, and I'm currently not keeping up with this whatsoever. So I'm hoping what happens is this settles down, and I might have to turn the desktop notification down a little bit because it's a bit noisy right now. And it's getting on my nerves, to be quite honest with you. But thanks everyone for the follows, and thanks for Maximus Decimus 1990 for the follow as well on Twitch. You guys are amazing. Yes, Andy H, you are able to chat in both Twitch and in YouTube as well. I'm not going to keep reading the follows out. I'm hoping they're just coming through because this is the first time we've been live in, I think, nearly 2 years, guys. 2 years since we've been live last. That's absolute craziness. And like I said, like, part of this is because I'm not managing to kick out content. Let's ditch the topic. I was trying to be super professional. Let's ditch the topic for a little bit and just chat to you guys, right? So I started the year pretty strong with content every Tuesday going up. But what I was doing, so you guys know, I moved jobs November last year, right? And I moved to Monday to Friday job. And what happened after I moved to that job was I had to sort of try and structure my life to be able to kick out regular content on YouTube, and with also supporting Winters on Deployment Zone as well. With COVID going on, with the issue that my eldest had with his heart, we didn't have a lot of people come into the house at all because COVID, heart problems, we didn't want to take any gambles. And we were being super cautious. And I guess a lot of people will accept that that kind of makes sense when it's your 8-year-old son. So I put together a schedule, and I was basically filming on a Monday night, my talking heads, editing it till I don't know what time, rendering it in the morning, uploading it to YouTube, launching it 5:30. Wednesdays, Brom and I get together to playtest. Thursday nights, I film the Endless Cacophony podcast with Chris, edit them Friday mornings, upload those Fridays for DZ. And it was going, and it got too much. And unfortunately for you amazing people in YouTube and Twitch, the thing that drops if it gets too much is YouTube, because the income, the revenue, the reward for smashing time into YouTube is less than the reward for smashing time into my full-time job, my family, and also for DZ. So this is supposed to fix that, right? So this is going to be no post-production time. There's no editing video. There's no rendering. This is just done after this, and it's on Twitch and it's on YouTube. And I don't intend to do what Mikey does, who puts a ton of effort into editing his videos and making loads of little pop-ups and stuff. Again, like I said, go check him out, White Legend. I don't do that stuff because I haven't got the time. If I could, maybe I would. But hey, there we are. So that sort of explains why I'm here. Explains what I'm doing. Explains why I've got a join button to the channel below. It explains why Nightbot should be chucking up DZ links. It explains why we've got super chats on, why you can subscribe on Twitch like Plague of Shadows just did. You absolute legend, thank you very much. There's just tons of way to try and support me, in the hope that I can kind of catch Winters up and then join him full time, and then really start pushing DZTV, and we can bring more people in like Play On and stuff like that, and just create this amazing like Netflix type space that's like Warhammer Plus but better. But that's the plan. It's like Warhammer Plus, but just not trying to rip people off, trying to give you better value for money. So yeah, I don't know. See if it works. Fleegret says, streaming seems like a better use of time than chatting and editing when addressing the community. You seem sufficiently focused and not rambling. Engage with the chat as a bonus too. That's the intent. So the first sort of 10 minutes, I'm going to chuck out what I want to talk about. So tonight's about the model range. And then I'm just going to chat to you guys for as long as you're happy to chat for, and as long as I can chat for without my wife coming in here and hitting me. That's the intent, right? Mr. August says, I used to love the Tuesday videos. The intro music was awesome. I'm trying to work out how to put that intro music on the starting soon screen, and I can't work out how to get it right at the moment, but I'm sure I'll get there. I spent the whole of Saturday. Right, so I spent the whole of Saturday. I bought this. I'll see if I can show you without breaking it. I bought this thing. This is a Elgato Stream Deck, and I bought this on Wednesday or something like that, or Tuesday last. I think I bought it on Tuesday last night when I was with Stephen Box on Vanguard Tactics, helping out with his live stream battle report. So I bought it, and I didn't get to touch it all week because I was working, and then I opened it up on Friday night, and I started playing with it on Saturday, and oh my god, that was a rabbit hole that I didn't know I wanted to tumble down. So I've got buttons that can do all sorts, and I can put community posts up and change my screen and all kinds of stuff, and that lost me a lot of time. I was sat in here for a god number of hours playing with the stream set up on OBS on Father's Day. I'm sure she was really happy with that, but you know. Hey, Liam Plus, Viking XDK says Liam Plus instead of Warhammer Plus. Okay, yeah, I think Liam Plus maybe we call it Liam Plus instead of the 40k show, just to keep Mikey from Hellstorm happy. Would that make you happy, Mikey? You still there? Would you like it if I called it Liam Plus? That could be what we call it. Andy H is shocked that Mikey puts in effort. Yeah, he does. I've seen it. I'm not saying it's great. But it's effort. No, I love Mikey stuff. ECP is great for painting with. If you guys haven't checked out ECP, the Endless Cacophony podcast, you can head on over to iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. It's on YouTube as well, actually, some episodes. And we put every single episode in Deployment Zone. We put every 4th or 5th episode-ish out on those free platforms as well. So you can check that out as well. And there's a lot of people talking about the intro music, so I'm going to try and get that on here as well. Plague of Shadow says, howdy from your favourite Texan. As always, the head looks good. Thanks, mate. Mikey reckons... So this is another thing. So Mikey's also convinced his audience that I copied his beard. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. And I copied his hair. And the hair was a competition that started during lockdown because I just wanted to beat Alex for best hair. That was it. If Quipster's in the chat, I just wanted to beat him for best hair. Nothing else Nothing more than that. Liam's Last Hammer. I don't know if Liam's Last Hammer would be a great name for a show, or if it would get past the requirements to stay monetized, since it used to be Warhammer. Yeah, it did used to be Warhammer. Should we talk about that for a minute? Maybe I should explain what happened there, because I never really properly explained it. I just changed loads of stuff and then sort of went for it. Perhaps do I talk about it? What do you reckon, chat? Shall I I need to work out. Dats and Des has also told me that I can do polls on Twitch whilst live. At the moment, I've got a million things going on that I'm not yet used to, so I will learn how to do that. We'll get there eventually. But perhaps I should talk about why we got rid of Warhammer, what happened there. And this is actually, I think this is probably useful and helpful advice for some of those people out there in the community that are thinking about becoming content creators, or who are currently content creators, who have recently joined that sort of bandwagon and got together with it. How and why I did what I did. Yeah, probably should. So I guess the best way of putting it was I hit burnout pretty heavy. Not only did I hit burnout, but 8th edition was fatiguing me. I don't know if a lot of people felt this towards the end of 8th edition. Maybe it was just me. Interesting to know if other people felt this as well. But it started to burn me out a little bit, and I started to really struggle to love 40k at all. And then with that came the YouTube channel, which had become a bit of a grind. In fact, it had become a real grind. And in fact, actually, what's really interesting is a video. I sound like I'm kissing his ass right now, and I hate this. It's a video that Mikey put up on Hellstorm on Did you put it up on Sunday, Mikey? I think it went up yesterday. Which isn't your normal video that Mikey puts up. I can't remember what it's called. I'll have a look for it in a second. But Mikey put that up on Sunday, and if you do nothing but watch the first 5 minutes of that video, it's worth listening to what he talks about when he talks about painting models, how he feels about whether he wants to paint models. It's the same with effort into videos and how much effort you put into video. And if you're not used to this, if you haven't done this stuff before and you put hours and hours and hours into producing a video, and then it flops for reasons you just don't understand. You put the video out, it just doesn't do great, and it does not. You get a few views, it sits at the bottom of your rankings. Feel like it can super destroy your morale. It absolutely wrecks you. Like it's a horrible feeling. And I kind of felt that quite strong last year. I'd done an interview for a new job. I'd got that job, but at the same time, it was delayed because COVID hit. So COVID hit. The job was delayed. There was loads of stuff going on like that. I was super struggling, and I was like, I don't enjoy 40k. I don't love 40k. I don't love making 40k content. And I wanted to explore a different avenue. I rebranded the channel, and the intent genuinely, at the time, not now, don't panic, calm. The intent at the time was to come away from making 40k content altogether and go towards making tech content and vlogging and blogging, all that kind of stuff. That was a fucking stupid idea, wasn't it? And it was, ultimately, in hindsight. And you'll be glad to know I'm back massively loving the hobby again, massively loving doing content with ECP with Chris for Fridays. And this is a way to do this regularly. And the thing I love the most about 40k is the thing that I think is the best about 40k is the community. Right, I hang out in people like Valrak's chat on his live streams. I hang out with Mikey and Jay on their live streams. Sometimes I don't say a single word. I just sit and watch. I love watching the community talk to each other. I love watching the community hang out with each other. That's the bit that I love the most. And I think because of COVID, no events. I go to events. No events. No games with other people. We locked down a bit hard because of reasons that I explained earlier. The hobby died for me. It just died for me because the bit that I love is the back and forth. It's the banter, it's the fun, it's the hanging out. I go to events. I like to go down to Confrontation because Ricky's got a great group of guys, but also because I like the idea of playing 5 games against 5 random people that I've never played before. Like, that's one of the best parts of 40k for me, is I get to just go and hang out with 5 random people. And that passion's really coming back. I've been down to hang out with Steve Box at Vanguard Tactics a couple of times. Absolutely loving getting to know more people, hanging out with more people in the hobby, being involved in more games. That's where the passion's coming back. So I think COVID might have had a massive part of it. And actually the launch of 9th edition as well. The launch of 9th edition has been a huge boon to my hobby. Like, I am obsessed like never before which is super interesting because lots of people talked about how crazy complicated the rules are in ninth for some of the newer factions, and that's putting people off. And I get it for new players. I think we talked about this to a point on the Conclave podcast as well recently. I get it, but I enjoy it. I really love it. So, you know, I'm quite happy with how it is and where it is. And that's why we're back, and that's why I'm here. And we've had some serious chats between Winters and I recently about how close we might be to getting out the factory and supporting me as well. Not quite there. And part of this is to try and generate that little bit extra just to get out of the factory. So I'm going to jump back into the chat anyway and talk to some people. Could call the show The Dempra Protects. I could, Paul. I wonder if that's is that a bit cheesy? Range refreshes. Oh, this is on topic. This is good. We're 20 minutes in. We should probably keep to some of the topic. Range refresh is one thing, but what I really want to know is when is the CSM Codex likely due? I can't say anything. I can tell you beat Alex for best hair. Cheers, Reza. Legend. I love you. You're my favourite. And Andrew T said, just call it Liam better than Mikey. Mikey has suggested we call it Sit and Talk Live. I don't really care. I'm just probably going to keep it as the 40k show and just be better than yours. I should just do that. We've had a super chat from a finance junkie. Whilst I was talking, I was trying not to be distracted by the alert. Anyone else notice Eldar Forge World has so many models that look like they're not coming back? I'm living in hope, dying in non-plastic despair. I hadn't noticed that they weren't. I know that they'd got rid of a load of the Deathcore Krieg Ranger for Forge World, and I'm really hoping that means that plastic Deathcore Krieg are coming. Really, really hoping that plastic Deathcore Krieg are coming. I'm hoping that they're just not gone, because some of the units that were really cool, like, I think Engineers were one of the cool, like, well-known Deathcore units, and I think they're just gone. And I'm hoping they're not just legends. That would be upsetting. Noi Jatat Gaz, is that how I say it? No, I don't know how I say that name. I apologise. But are you using Restream, not I, to pull together all the chats from different platforms? I am, yes. That's exactly how I'm doing it. I'm not going to lie to people. This is why I'm on Twitch and YouTube at exactly the same time, trying to put it out to as many places as possible just for exposure, and hoping to bring in channel joins and super chats and subs on Twitch, because you know you can do all those things, just so you know. Ninth feels worse at the moment. Not sure if the explosion of rules or lack of playing with real live people. So I think that was it for me, Andy, to be honest. This is an interesting topic, right? So I don't think the rules are that mental for 9th edition. Even when I look at Admech, I don't think they're that crazy. I mean, I know Winters finds them crazy, but he's old, right? And he doesn't understand his own name, so maybe that's why he struggles. And I guess they are. I think for a new player, we spoke about this on ECP, for a new player, I think they're probably horrendous, and I think perhaps new players should focus on specific armies that aren't quite so complicated. I'll be interested to see what comes out in future for other factions and whether they remain as complex and complicated. I fear that they won't be as bad as... I don't think we're going to see complication bloat. I don't think it's going to get worse. Chaos Space Marines, I can't imagine being super complicated compared to someone like Admech, so maybe people like Admech are as bad as it's going to get. I don't know. Will T says, stopped playing at the end of 8th for the same reason. Started AOS, loving 9th, but worried about bookkeeping starting to creep in. Yeah, so bookkeeping's a huge thing for me as well, like a massive thing for me as well. If only they could have it all in a digital space, like on an app, and you could just do everything on an app. That'd be good. Brom and I have started playing, and Brom's in the chat, so everyone say hello to Brom. But Brom and I have started playing Crusade, right? Crusade's amazing, but to really understand what you're doing, you've got to get a Crusade journal. And when you've got a Crusade journal, you then got to fill it all in with pen. And if something changes, you've got to scribble and more pen, or you rub it out with a pencil. And if only it was on an app, if only they had a platform, if only these things existed, these little electronical devices existed. I live in a dream where we have electronical devices and you can just manage all this stuff in one place. That'd be good, wouldn't it? I was super fine with 8th, but I probably played 1/10 of the number of games that you did. I think 8th was... I think it just got tedious. I think it felt repetitive. Maybe that's my fault. I'm not someone like Winters who can just come up with narrative concepts and away he goes. I struggle. I need the rule book. I need the 40k team to tell me how to play not tell me how to play the game, but to give me a starter for 10 so I can go away and enjoy myself. And I felt like with 8th that started to become a bit stale, and even the missions in chapter approved were just slight variations, and I guess maybe that is a limitation of 40k. Perhaps that's the case. When Crusade dropped for 9th, and I watched Winters' review, I was like, I don't want to touch it, I'm not interested in it, because he absolutely destroyed it. Actually, I'm not going to say he was wrong, because clearly it's his own opinion, but I'm really enjoying Crusade at the moment. I think Brom's enjoying it too, and there's some things I'd like to change, and if only we were on the Crusade playtesting team so we could help change Crusade. Is that bruise on your right forearm, or is that muck? I got a man called Blood Moon Painting on Instagram, who's Josh, who's also got his own tattoo page, to stab me multiple times with his tiny little prick. Hi ads. You need to love the hobby or else you ruin Warhammer Widows content. Yeah. So this was interesting. It might have been you, Immersive Worldcrafter, who was on Jay's Twitch stream at the weekend, who said that my wife with Warhammer Widows used to make great content. Actually, we were talking earlier that same day. Her and I were talking, and she was thinking about bringing it back. And I said, it's up to you. If you want to do it, if you think it'd be funny, if you think you'd enjoy it, bring it back. Otherwise, it's entirely your call. And then that comment popped up, and I said, come and look at this. And she looked at it, and she went, what have you said? I said nothing. That's just come from someone who clearly used to enjoy the content. Bristol Chess Time says, does anyone else think that the reduction in playing time has resulted in a more negative outlook from the community in general? Lots of theory hammer or complaining about stuff that people haven't had much experience of, almost like the world is bad, so hobby bad. I kind of agree with that, right? I think that's probably actually a thing. I think probably it's one thing to look at rules in a rule book. It's one thing to look at the AdMech Codex and the complexity and go, this is horrendously complex. It's stupidly busy. I don't understand it. But you've just read it. You can't get your head around it. It's there in front of you. You start putting that in practice on the tabletop. You start playing with the AdMech Codex, and perhaps then you start to go, actually, now I've used it, it's a bit more intuitive than I thought it was going to be. I'm kind of understanding how it works and how it sort of interacts. And I don't think that actually, I think when you start to play it, you perhaps have a better experience. You might have a theory that Eradicators are absolutely turbo broken, and we know they're really strong, right? This might be a terrible example, but when you start to play against them and you realise that actually they're only toughness 5 and 3 wounds and they fall over to a relatively strong breeze, they're not that bad and they're not that frightening. And I think that not playing definitely has a negative impact on your sort of hobby experience and what you think about it. Just a theory, just my thought. I don't know if I'm right, but hey, I think I'm right. I think that when you start to play it, you'll have a more positive outset on 40k. I miss it as well. Like, I went and hung out with Mohawk J recently, and we didn't do anything apart from just chat for like 2 hours about 40k, because I was in the area anyway, visiting a depot in Bristol that I look after. And that's the stuff I've really missed. Like, I've really missed that stuff. So bring that back. Come on, let's get back to it. Let's get rid of fucking COVID. Everyone get jabbed up and be on 5G, and then finally we can start playing events again. I'm so looking forward to No Retreat Legends. Apart from the fact that Pardo is hammering me because I haven't yet unboxed this thing. I've not opened it. He's going to kill me for that. I haven't opened it. I mean, if you want to see unboxings, go to Mikey's channel, go to Valrak's channel, go to Tabletop Titans channel. They've all done it. I don't need to do that as well.
Could you try again?
Apparently he wants his 5 minutes in the limelight as well. Siri. Winters found it complicated in a recent game where he and his opponent were struggling. Yeah, so I think that, I mean, it's not for everyone, and that's a shame. We spoke about this on ECP. The fact that the second that a rule set means that a person can't play the game they want to play or play the army they want to play, that's kind of a negative, but in fact, that's a massive negative. We were talking about this, right? If Timmy, aged 14, walks into Games Workshop and he's never played 40k before and he wants to start playing 40k, and he finds that he loves the AdMech aesthetic. That's his favourite thing. That's the army that he wants to play. And then he starts to read the Codex because he likes that the models look cool. I love the robot vibe. I love the whole evil space robots from the 1950s type thing. And then he reads the Codex and he decides that is massively complicated, but nothing else in the Games Workshop tickles his fancy. There's a strong possibility he might go, you know what, I'm not interested in this anymore, and I'm going to not get involved with the hobby because of it. That's a shame. I'm hoping that's super rare. That's a shame. Wallace says, that's awesome. I cannot wait to start playing again. COVID sucked. COVID did suck. Son of Olympia, long live the Dempra. Thank you, mate. There might be on YouTube Dempra merchandise coming. I'm just saying. There might be. You could buy. I've dropped the price down, so I make zero markup, and it's just basically its cost price. I think it's okay to have some factions with high difficulty to entry. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. But that example I just talked about with Timmy Age 9, like that really concerns me. And I guess this also kind of links into the topic of the video that I've barely touched, right? Is if, say, that their lore that they're super into is Valhallans, because they've been listening to Commissar Kane on Audible, or they've been reading the Commissar Kane series, and they go, Valhallans is for me, and we go, yeah, okay, not even metal or finecast models. There's no model range. You can buy more Space Marines if you want, but there's no Valhallans. That sucks, right? I think that's really bad. I'm just saying. I don't think that's great. I love Ninth, but hate the core missions. I think the core missions, in terms of just match play, I think the core missions are really dull. I never thought I'd say this, I miss Maelstrom. I miss the randomness of Maelstrom, because you could play 10 games of the same type of Maelstrom mission, but because of the cards you drew, they'd be 10 different games. I miss Maelstrom. Like, I wish we had a proper... And the Maelstrom they released in the White Dwarf, I haven't played it. And again, I'm theory hammering right now, so now I'm criticising. Now I'm doing what I criticised. But for me, some of them were far too complicated. I just want to pull some cards out and play some games. That's all I want to do. And that's why I love open war at the moment. I'm new. So Papa says, I'm new. I don't mind the complexity. It's just hard to keep up with the complex rules for every faction. Again, like I said, app. Imagine if you could access it in an app. Why do you have to spend £30 UK money? If you're lucky enough to live in the UK and you don't have to pay Australian prices. Why do you have to pay 30 quid for a codex just to put a code into an app? Why can't you just buy it on the app? You used to just be able to buy digital editions on iBooks. So Games Workshop have shown that they can do this, but now you have to buy the physical edition to get the code to put in the app. That's a dickhead move from Games Workshop, isn't it? I love GW. I'm a huge GW fanboy. I work with them. That's a dickhead move. Stop doing that. Let people buy the code as a digital purchase. Don't charge them £30 for the book. We're saving the environment at the same time. And let's just have the rules in the app. But before you do that, just get the app right, please. That'd be great. The ECB videos are among my favourite. Thanks, Jeremy. That's amazing. And also, you're a hero, because you've, I think, commented on every video I've ever made. Absolute legend. I love the damn Fellblade. Has been out of service for 6 months. That's how long I've waited to buy one. I was looking at them. There's a specific type of Imperial Knight. If Mohawk was here, he'd tell me exactly which one it is. There's a specific type of Imperial Knight, right, that's super powerful right now, and that's not been in on Forge Job for a very long time. I was talking to him about that the other day. That's a few models like that at the moment. Mordian57 says, I've not grown that warm with Ninth yet, even though 1/3 of its lifespan is already behind us. I blame 1/3 of it, possibly. I blame COVID because I played very few games and the complicated rules aggravate it if you play rarely. This is something else, right, because of the COVID situation. Imagine if you'd have been able to just grow with the edition. So you started Ninth when it launched with a couple of codexes. Perhaps people wouldn't find it so complicated now. Bing Brom 2270 says, how are your Space Wolves going? We're going to skip over that one. Do you think you can be competitive if you don't know all the strat combos for other armies? So Stephen Box from Vanguard Tactics tells me, yes, you can be competitive without knowing other codexes if you come to the table with, I think he said 3 or 5, I think 3 specific questions, so you can ask your opponent specifically what things they have that interact with your army. I think you can do that. About the name, the Dempra Protect, since when have you been concerned with cheesy names? That's true, Paul. I've never been concerned with cheesy names. Everyone says hi, Brom. I think he may have already gone. Oh no, he's here. I would be 100% down for Plastic Deathcore Krieg, although my resin collection is more than enough for me right now. Yeah, I bet it is. Sell your house for it, did you? Possibly. Play Death Guard and already need multiple books. So I'm gonna talk about that, right? On the topic of dick moves, that was pretty dickish. To drop a codex and then, what was it, a month, 6 weeks later, drop a campaign book that had more rules in for the faction of whose codex came out a month ago. Wasn't as bad as it was for Drukhari players, where their codex came out the same day as that book, which also had faction rules in for Drukhari. I have given them negative feedback about that. I fucking hate that. I hate that as a concept. I hate the idea of you have to buy 2 books to play a specific chapter or a specific cult simply because they're going to put their rules in 2 different places and not reprint them. If you wanted to just stick them in the campaign book and put them in the codex, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. Don't do what you did. Don't do what you did. I hate it. Lots of love for Bron with a beard. I imagine an ebook being cheaper than a hardback. I know. Morning, Liam. Morning. Neil Giles is clearly not in the UK. Wasn't 8th mostly about getting players back into the game with simplified rules and the likes. So yeah, Shadow Wolf Minis, I think that was what 8th did really, really well. I don't know if that was the intent, but I think it did it really well. There's a concern, especially from Winters, that is now kind of going, and that complexity is possibly going to cause even people that have recently come back to the hobby to go away from the hobby again. I hope that doesn't happen. Who knows? Time will tell. GW are still a successful company right now, right? They're still performing really, really, really well. So I'm not going to try and slam their business model right now. And DZTV as a business has seen growth. I think YouTube channels all across the board have seen growth. Well, those that put up regular content anyway have seen growth. So I think that on the whole, the 40k community and the 40k hobby is growing, if I'm honest. I think that we need a balance where we also have a version of the game which is there to bring new people in that isn't Age of Sigmar, but is specifically 40k. I think the 40k universe at the moment still just beats Age of Sigmar hands down. Jen Zendekinderen. This is the bit I hate the most about live streaming. Says, you're just great the way you are. Aw, thank you. Should Forge World just give us a heads up when they discontinue models products? I think some sort of information would be helpful for people to allow people to buy up before they stop it, or give you oh, by the way, we're going to be producing this model for another month and then we're shutting it down. I'm not sure. Brom says he loves 9th. You've played like 3 games. Would like to see a Dempsey narrative campaign on DZTV. Yeah, so we've got some intent to create a... So this is not a lot of people know this. We've got some intent to create a narrative Crusade campaign for DZTV, and what Brom and I are currently doing is testing new filming methods. There's a brand new battle report going on Deployment Zone on Thursday, and maybe just watch the intro. The game's a car crash in terms of the edit of it because we were trying a brand new format. But once we get this right, we'll then start filming the narrative campaign, the Crusade campaign, and I'm super excited about that. The AOS Crusade system sounds cool, based off 40k, but should have more simplified bookkeeping. I didn't get a copy of the new AOS box, so I have no idea, because Games Workshop's previewing team seem to just randomly send things to random people whenever they feel like it right now, and sometimes you might get a codex on time, sometimes you might get it 4 weeks after retail shops. I am making rules for custom Crusade campaign. Me and a friend going to play later. Mostly fun, create stuff for rules that have existed. That's cool. Like, that's one of the bonuses about 40k, right? You can do whatever the hell you want. Models in need of refreshing. I think the Fire Dragon models have been serviced since 2nd edition. Also, NIDs need refreshing and gardening. Some NIDs need refreshing, but actually some of their bigger kits and the bigger monsters, they're pretty cool. Maybe Gaunts perhaps need a bit of work. Fire Dragons, definitely. Swooping Hawks is the one that I remember. I bought them in Finecast and I never fielded them, and I think I may have put them in the bin. They were that bad. Will we see you attending some DZTV days? Yes. If you guys aren't aware of what this is, DZTV subscribers and patrons get access to a specific location in Nottingham, the name of which escapes me right now, and every Saturday, first Saturday I think it is of the month, we get that venue for free and you can go and hang out and play games with other DZTV people. Yay. Have you considered doing DZTV days in the US? We are looking at North American venues. I'll say no more than that. Adam says, Siri jumping in. That's how behind the chat I am. I'm trying to catch up, right? Can we get an in-depth video series over how to play 9th edition by phase? You're going to love this then, because I have just agreed to film with Stephen Box from Vanguard Tactics a how to play or learn to play 9th edition and 40k series. So yes, what you've just asked for, we're going to do you exactly that. Whoop, whoop. DZTV World Tour. Get me out of the factory and I will tour the world. I'm the person who likes to go and meet people. Winters is a bit more insular. I'm more than happy to do that. So yeah, there you go. You can hit the link that's in the chat to DZTV and get a 7-day free trial. And if you like it, then you can hang around for a bit longer, and that helps get me a step closer. And a step closer, you can super chat, you can join the channel. There's all those sorts of things you can do as well. You don't need to play AdMech Complex from Chris B. You can build simple lists. You can, exactly. You can sort of layer it. And I kind of wish they'd give us some help in layering. So again, something I think we've talked about in the ECP. I wish they would help us or guide the community in this is how beginners play and what you use. And beginners maybe don't use stratagems, and beginners maybe don't use detachment special rules, but you just use your detachments, you just use the data sheets, and you just use the core rules. And then intermediate, perhaps we start layering in detachment abilities. We maybe chuck in warlord traits and relics, and perhaps we then look at advanced being stratagems and stuff like that. I think that they could then maybe layer each this is a 10th edition thing, right? Perhaps, because I don't think we can do this now. They could maybe then layer each codex with an intermediate, a beginner, and a advanced sort of area in each codex. So you could have all your data sheets first, and that's your beginner area, and your detachment abilities are in your intermediate area, and then your stratagems are at the end in your complex area. And as you go through the codex, it goes from beginner to end. Are you watching Games Workshop? You should be watching. Whilst I agree if rules are hard, if you love the army, you put the time in to learn them. I picked Imperial Guard. I'm well aware they are glorified cannon fodder, but the lore for them makes me want to learn. Okay, granted, absolutely, and power to you. I'm just thinking that some people may be put off by. In fact, I've spoken to people who love factions and are put off by the rules. It's a shame. It is. But it does put people off, and I think that's a negative, and I think we need to get that balance just right. I was kind of disappointed about the Valhallan as a recent re-enter into the hobby. I bought a whole metal Valhallan army, which lasted with me for a couple of weeks, and now it is in the possession of Warsmith Chris. That was soul destroying. It's the difficulty of balancing fluff and the rules. If we want factions with more unique rules to reflect the fluff, complexity will be the result. 100%. 100%, absolutely agree with you. And that's why I welcome the complexity as more of a narrative junkie than people like you, Mikey from Hellstorms, and your Steve Boxes. I prefer the narrative a little bit more than I prefer events, although I just can't wait to get to events again. I think that to get that narrative right for certain factions, you need the complexity. And that's what I'm saying, it's the balance thing. I don't know the answer. I don't know how you do it. I get it spot on. I don't know how you make AdMech super friendly for people. I don't know how you do all that, but I think that we could do more, or GW could do more. Maybe they don't need to. They're running a successful business, right? Maybe they don't. And I'm doing this in my spare time when I'm conscious I've got to go to work again in the morning. Hey. There is a way to dumb it down. You just need to get another player who is willing to show you. Yeah, I mean, 8th edition, right? We did the DZTV Open Day at Element Games, and there's a link to Element Games below. They are our sponsor. They're my sponsor. If you hit that link and you buy things through that link, then you can directly support DZTV. There's also DZTV dice and stuff like that. And then there's more merchandise coming soon. There's new objective markers and stuff. We're waiting for the test one to come out. But you're right. We did the DZTV Open Day. We had new players got given a certain colour wristband, and we had a load of the DZTV regulars like Mikey P and the Claw and people like that who taught people how to play it on that day. That's really cool. Who would win in a fight, Chewie or Liam? Chewie has the reach, but Liam has a beard, so that's an advantage. Chewie's a big man, and Chewie has a particular set of skills. Now, he's not quite Liam Neeson's sets of skills, but he has a particular set of skills. I think he probably would win. Probably would beat me. Will T says, that's how I feel about Guard. Wanted a Tanith army for so long, but we have had nothing but outdated Cadians for years. Guard is super powerful. I did tons of work. I did lots of head converting with Cadians just to try and make my Guard have a unique feel. I want a better model range for the Guard. It's hard because it's not like Space Marines, right, where you change the colour and stick a different logo on. Guard are very unique in a regiment per regiment basis. Mordians look completely different to Valhallans. Valhallans look completely different to Talons. Super hard to do that with a model range because ideally, I guess from a business perspective from Games Workshop, you want a single plastic kit with some variation in order to make it more unique. And if they were to think about investment versus return. If Games Workshop made a whole Cathichan range, a whole Cadian range, a whole Talon range, a whole Valhallan range, etc., are they going to sell enough to make that worth it? I doubt it, to be honest with you. Datsun says it's the Night Magera. Yeah, you're right. Are you excited to see Warhammer entering mainstream pop culture with the advent of Ninth and Warhammer Plus? And do you think it will ever gain the same sort of traction as Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings? I want it to. I'd like Games Workshop to perhaps treat their community a little nicer overall. They're better than they ever were before in sort of 7th and 6th. Sometimes I feel like I'm being bled dry. And I'm conscious that I'm saying that as someone saying, use super chats and join the channel and support DZTV. Super conscious of how much of a hypocrite I sound, but I'm also not a multi-million pound company. So I'm conscious of that. Son of Olympia has shared with us the fact that he's got a luscious bed of hair from his chest pubes down to his ball fro. Thank you. I'm glad you shared that. I don't know why that was. With digital only editions, would you really want to hand over your phone every time your opponent to show you stats, strats, etc.? No, and I don't know how we fix that, but I think it's maybe it was is it the BCP app? People like Mikey will know this. You can see opponents' lists and stuff in the BCP app. So I don't know why I'm at an event and I'm playing with my World Eaters and I get pulled against Brom. I don't know why I can't, because I'm pulled against Brom on the app and it shows me that I'm playing against him. Why he can't just see my stuff for the duration of that game? I don't see why that wouldn't be too hard to work out. Also, I don't think I really answered the mainstream question. Please get 40k mainstream. The more people involved in 40k, the more money that'll get pumped into 40k, the more it'll expand, the more great authors will get hold of it, the more great filmmakers will get hold of it. I just think it's positive overall. Liam, when is the next time we will see the Eternal Slaughter? They're my favourite army out of all the content producers. The game you played with them against Winters' Custodes was the first battle report I watched from start to finish. You legend. The first one is with the Eternal Slaughter that's coming up is on DZTV on Thursday, and it's not great. And once Bob and I have done a couple more test games that will go on DZTV, and we've got something a little bit more polished, we'll chuck it out to you guys on YouTube, because the people on YouTube are a lot meaner about what I do, not more horrible about it. So I need it to be nice comments. Hellstorm Mikey with the accurate spelling. That's not. Do you know if the extra... How can he spell but he can't talk? Do you know if the extra additional rules drops will be allowed for tournament play? I guess you're talking about like Warzone Charadon. I don't see why they wouldn't be. They're in a formal Games Workshop rules book. It depends on the tournament organiser, I guess. Certain TOs, maybe like the guys at SN might say no expansion books. I don't know why they would. It's in a formal rules pack. Not sure. I hate to say it, but I agree. A supplement type of book should take at least 6 months plus to come out if it's done at all. Yeah, so I guess this is back. I'm going to skip some comments in a minute. I guess this is back to what we were talking about before with Charadon. Like, I would have loved Charadon to come out now, the first book, and be like, well, we're going to cover demons and Chaos Space Marines and Imperial Guard and etc. and codexes that aren't out yet and we haven't previewed, because they're not going to get rules for a while, clearly, with the release rate, so we're going to give you some more rules. We're not going to give you rules for all the codexes that have already come out, because that's just not treating your customers well. Watching live in Australia. Welcome, Neil. Also, the Crusade campaign books should have the Crusade core rules in them, because you need to have the big rule book to get the Crusade... Why couldn't they... Winters and I have covered this. Why couldn't they release the rule book as a core rule book and Crusade as a separate manual? I'd have paid for it, honestly. Actually don't mind the app. They've been working to improve it. It's been updated regularly. It's getting better. It is getting better. Mango, what are your thoughts on the new Orc stuff shown off? Seen some negative feedback about them looking too AOS model. I think they look more AOS than they have before, but I think they look more vicious, angry Orc alien rather than cartoon funny alien, and therefore I'm all for it. And actually the new Crawl Boys that have been released for Age of Sigmar are my favourite looking Orc type models the Games Workshop have ever done. But I'm a massive Lord of the Rings nut, and anything that looks more like those types of orcs, that's what I'm about, more than the cartoony, giant-jawed lunatics. Worse than content across a codex and a campaign book is codex information being FAQ'd errated after a couple of weeks, meaning your printed reference is short of useless. Yeah, I'm not going to tumble down that rabbit hole. That's probably a whole other topic. Perhaps. Andy H is apparently upsetting the bot. I need to calm that bot down, Andy. I don't. So it's a brand new stream, right? So as a brand new stream, I don't have any moderators. So I was like, well, I'm conscious that this is going to go on to YouTube for all eternity. Now, when I used to just stream to Twitch, the VOD stays up for a week or whatever, and then it disappears. This time it doesn't do it. So I had to put, and it's very aggressive. So I need to look at playing with that bot a little more. I did send you the tabletopevents.co.uk link for the DZ Days events, but that bot's about... Okay, all right, that's why the bot upset you. And you upset the bot. You're doing how to play. There goes an idea for my channel. Do it. You might do it better than us. You might do it. I mean, you probably won't, but you might do it better than us. I'm not answering questions about pineapple on pizza. No, it shouldn't. It doesn't belong there. It should never be there. It's a complete and utter abomination. Willing to express thoughts on Games Workshop's stricter position on third-party bits. Shams on Discord. Third-party bits don't seem to be a problem on the whole. It's third-party models and printed models in general. It's interesting. Games Workshop, I think, are going to have to be quite agile in the near future with the emergence of 3D printing, how common it is, how much it's exploded onto the market, how accessible it is now, and how reasonably priced it is. I think they might have to be a bit more relaxed about it. And would I be massively surprised in the future if Games Workshop were selling STL files rather than models? I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I think I'd encourage it as well, but I don't know. Tough one. I know it's shocked the Americans with the tournament packs that are going out saying you can't use them. They're not particularly happy about it. I'm not massively surprised. I kind of get it. I do. I don't know. But I also get the fact that Games Workshop nowadays and 40k in general, the price point for me of the model range is excessive, like super excessive. It's very high. For a new player, it's borderline ridiculous. Vault Hunt Games have done a How to Play 40k series similar to what you've subscribed or described, I guess. Best to learn is in layers. Interested to see your series and take on it. So Vault Hunted Games is saying he's done How to Play 40k. Oh no, David Hall saying Vault Hunted Games have done a How to Play 40k series, so go and check that out. I think there's also a video on the Play On channel as well, Play On Tabletop, so go check out Play On Tabletop. And if you like what they do, they've also got a series in Deployment Zone. If they want to make a complex faction more accessible, add a section that tells you how to combo stuff for greater effect. That's from Zoronic, and that's interesting. Mohawk Minus is subbed. Thanks, Jay. You're an absolute legend. If they want to make it more complex, teach you and give you cheat sheets for how to do the combos. I think part of the fun is working that stuff out for yourself, and part of pitting yourself against your opponent is coming up with combinations. Not sold on that one. Interesting. Have you find DZTV folks considered adding some sort of player location finder gummins for the website? Not on the website, but if you join the Discord, there is currently a player finder map in the Discord, but that is for Patreons because we're super conscious about putting loads of people's locations out there to any free Discord user. I have to have a think about that one. Perhaps we can come up with something. You've got to be in the mood to crank out guard infantry. Not sure if that's a euphemism or not. You need to have a car battery attached to your nipples to paint guard. I've not tried that. Maybe people like Mohawk can maybe they can tell us if that works. Perhaps. We need more sister models. It's not enough. The sister models are so not. Don't. Adam from ADR Wargaming, go check out his channel and subscribe. He's also part of the Conclave podcast. Has told me that I should be collecting sisters, and I am fighting him off now. I am fighting him off with a shitty stick because I've got enough unpainted models as it is. Okay, with third-party companies making guard forces for a lot of the main regiments, could this be a reason GW will not be doing much of anything for them in the future? I guess they may have an eye on it, but I feel like if they see that they're doing well, they're missing a bit of a cash cow there. My poor Emperor's children need noise marine kits. They do, but I don't think we're going to see them for a while. I don't know what gives me that impression. I felt like I was on a coke binge trying to paint my 12 card squads in a row. That sounds horrendous. No. Never fear, Ginger Steve is here. Hey, Ginger Steve, how are you? You're a legend, by the way. I've seen you commenting on other people's videos about myself. What a lovely man. Marry me. On the guard situation, to make a different guard regiment, I'm using Necromunda models for a Hive Militia, just to have a regiment that looks different. Tanith Regiment would be great range too. That sounds like a great idea. The Mighty Moog, yeah, they need some kind of approach like that. I've missed the message. Basic guard models and regiment-specific upgrade kits. They do need to do that. I just don't know how you do that. It'd be interesting. Sandman says, I find myself loving everything Games Workshop produces nowadays, rules-wise, but there seems to be some attitude to leave the 8th Ed Codex without balance until they get the Codex. So this is interesting. I've been involved in and played some games of 9th Ed Codex versus 8th Ed Codex, and I think there's a massive imbalance for some of those codexes, which is interesting. And Adam says, Sandman, the aberrants are so reasonably priced. Not sure what you're saying. Do you think 40k needs blowing up like fantasy? No. Whoa, no. I think one of the biggest things that draws people to 40k in general, one of the biggest reasons for its fan base is the lore. If you AOS 40k, the hate they got for doing that to fantasy, it's just not worth it for 40k. Just not worth it. Don't do that. Maybe too much coke is why you have trouble tracking the FAQ releases. It could be a reason. 3D printing is amazing now. This is from Wee Hesse. I picked up a resin printer for £200 and the quality I can produce is amazing. The digital sculpt has more impact than the actual printer itself. Yeah, I'm not surprised. If Games Workshop aren't willing to create the parts to do some more obscure regiments, they should not be doing things like outright banning 3D printed parts. And that's the argument, right? That's the argument. Especially when they're dropping rules in tournament packs about how your army must be painted for the chapter that you're trying to play. You must be painting it in Ultramarines if you want to use Ultramarines. You must be painting it in other versions of the same thing. World Eaters if you want to use World Eaters, etc. So how can you do that if you want to play Valhallans? If you want to play Valhallans right now, go to a Games Workshop event, a Games Workshop tournament, and you go, I'm going to go to Games Workshop, and I want to use Valhallans for my main faction in this event. How do you do that? You can't. You have to get Cadians, or you can, I think, still buy Catechins. None of them are Valhallans. So it's interesting how they can put that kind of ban on 3D printed parts and stuff, but then say, what are they expecting you to do? Green stuff a whole Valhallan army? I mean, that's unreasonable, right? I think that's... I like the fact that we've gone full circle as well, by the way, back onto the main topic. That's good. Thank you, chat. Chat's helping me here. Mohawk, been teaching. Hope the stream has been good so far. It's been an experience, Jay. I'm not going to lie to you. Some things don't work. I wonder if my Twitch sub goal works. There's 2 subs showing on my Twitch sub goal. Look at that. It does work. It just took a while to update. I wonder if my YouTube channel member goal works. This is just for the month of June, by the way. So I'm hoping to hit these goals by the month of June. You'll notice it says stage 1. I have not yet decided which stage is the stage in which I leave the factory. Who knows? The price range of the books are ridiculous. 40 quid for the rules. This is Great British pounds, obviously. So depending on your country of origin, depends on the currency you pay. And I know in Australia, those guys get stung bad for models. But £40 for the rules. For your faction book, £30 plus some random added bits. I think, do you know what, right? I think if the main rulebook was 40 quid and your codex was 30 quid, but you knew that was all you had, that's the only thing you had to buy to run your faction, I'd be okay with it. I think it could be improved. I think you could have a better app system and therefore only have to buy digital copies, and your digital copies could be half the price of physical because you haven't actually got to print them and then ship them over from China. Because I don't know if people know this, but I'm sure you guys do. Games Workshop books are printed in China and shipped over to the UK. And part of the reason why UK previewers have delays on their preview codexes over the American previews is because there's 2 different distribution centres. We get our distribution from the UK. Americans get their distribution from a warehouse in it might be Texas. I'm not sure, but it's in America. So China ships to those distribution centres and eventually they get shipped out to previewers. So everything comes from China. Surely that's cost. So if you made just a digital version, no cost. You could just buy a digital version, cheaper rules entry, more people playing. More people playing, more people buying models, more people buying models, more profit. Solved it right there. I kind of like this comment, Rob. So Rob says 40k is golf for nerds. Expensive, time-consuming, better with alcohol, and interesting only to other 40k players. Rob, I would like you to tell people in the YouTube chat how much money you spent just to play a game with me. I'm going to leave it there. Zeronic says, I like painting guards. Okay, I don't. Mohawk says, you've got to use the left testicle for the battery if you're going to paint those guard. Interesting. An immersive worldcrafter is spammed with Mohawk emotes. I think if you go and subscribe to Mohawk, you get access to those emotes, and you should do that because he's an absolute legend. And he was forced into going full-time last year, and he's smashing it. So Jay's a legend. Datsun Des tells Mohawk that we've been fine. Automod has been a bit heavy. Automod's been really heavy-handed. Someone reach out to me after this and help me with Automod because I've not got it right. I've not got it right at all. Sir Dragon says, or SEC4 Dragon. I'm going to call it Dragon. So C Dragon says, Liam, you should bring sisters to No Retreat. Ed, no. is the answer. No. Ed's here. Alex Quips and Nerds in the chat as well in Twitch. But if you head on over to YouTube, you can subscribe to Quips and Nerd. And I urge everybody who's watching this, whether you're watching it live or watching it as a VOD later on YouTube, to go and subscribe to the Conclave podcast, the 40k Conclave podcast. I've been on it twice. Great bunch of guys. Love it. You can also find it in your favourite places, i.e. iTunes, Spotify, etc. Brilliant podcast. Last Brew Standing. I know there are sections for Patreon only on Discord, but is there anything for subscribers for DZTV? I know the basic Discord is free to everyone, but not everyone can do a DZT7 and Patreon. I tell you what, this has been asked a few times. So at some point after this, I will chat to the mods in Discord, and we will open up a second map for DZTV subscribers in our Discord who aren't patrons. And that means that anyone, because at the moment the map has always been for patrons, right? So one of the reasons why people have been able to stick their location on the map is simply because they know it's behind a paywall and there's a little bit of protection there. We'll open up a fresh one, and people therefore can only stick it on there if they want to. So there's no obligation, you don't have to, and you're conscious of the fact that if you are putting it on there, it's opened up to people who are just DZTV subs. So we're going to do that. There you go. Remind me though. Remind me in Discord, because I will forget. You'll have to send me a DM, and then I'll probably reply the next day or two, and I'll get the mods to do that. What's the difference between green stuffing army and doing a digital sculpt and printing it though? So I think Games Workshop have said that they're okay if it's your own designs, which is super interesting. So I guess there is no difference in that regard, but in regard to buying digital designs from a different company and then uploading it and printing it, I think that's where they're having problems, because you're directly financially supporting another entity that's not Games Workshop. Although that entity in itself is supporting Games Workshop by facilitating you to have the models that you want. I think for me, if some part of the model was Games Workshop, I don't see why they'd have a problem. That makes sense, because you've at least had to buy part of the model to make it work. To be fair to Games Workshop, if they aren't giving support to a particular guard regiment, maybe that's because the current rules and model teams are dealing with decisions made 25 years ago. True. $80 for a codex and $120 for the core rules in New Zealand. That's fucking mental. $200 before you've bought a model to play in New Zealand. Well, I mean, at least you've got a beautiful country and you did COVID right. Like, no one else can really say that, right? If GW said they would release all the guard regiments in plastic, but they would raise the price of each box by at least 40%, would you consider that worth it or keep it the same? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I think 40% might be a bit steep. Mind you, I mean, they're kicking out 5 flayed ones for 30-something quid, so they've already started doing it, I think. Will bringing the Astartes creator into the GW fold have a positive or negative effect on their future creations? In terms of what they're creating, that's got to be positive. So, going out to someone like the creator of Astartes and bringing him into the team can only be a positive move from Games Workshop, I think, right? It's got to be. Taking down all of his current content off of YouTube was the wrong choice. Full stop. Millions, millions, and millions of views on YouTube. More views on YouTube than almost any video that Warhammer TV have put out. Why would you make someone who is advertising your brand to that many people take that content down? Now, I fully understand signing him up. I fully understand getting him under an NDA. I fully understand getting him working on things for you. Leave those videos on YouTube. Leave that as an advert for Warhammer. Why take that down? I don't understand it. Maybe someone out there who knows copyright, maybe someone out there who knows that kind of law can help me. I just think that was a stupid move from Games Workshop. Really stupid. In terms of bringing him in and improving their content, I hope so. I'd love a feature-length CGI Astartes film that's 90 minutes. If I'm paying for Warhammer Plus, I would want more than 2.5 minutes. But then, I mean, to be fair, my wife says the same thing. She doesn't get it, so, you know. What is your favourite new 9th edition model, and why is it Blade Guard? Do you know what? Controversial. I'm not that fussed by Blade Guard. I'm just not that fussed. And in terms of what is my new favourite 9th edition model, I can't say. Unless we're only talking about ones that are released so far, in which case I'm a big fan of the Catan Child of the Void Dragon. And I'm also a big fan of the Silent King. I think they're both quality models. Jay from Mohawk, GW haven't said that you have to have your army painted as ultras if you want to play ultras. They've said that you have to have your army checked by them if you want to play a force that it's not painted as. I suspect this is more to stop someone that's painted Iron Hands when they were the new hotness suddenly having white scars now, but all the minis are Iron Hands. Yeah, I get it. Again, like, it makes sense, right, for those people that are in that go to events. This is going to shock people, I'm sure. There are some people out there who are hyper-competitive players who don't care about the narrative and the lore at all. Shocking, I know. Shocking. And those players don't give a they don't care what their army is painted as. They just want to play the strongest they can, and they want to pit themselves against the best players out there and try and compete. This is a real grey area for me. I'm a narrative player, right? And if I'm playing against a player who has a whole blue army that have all got toilet seats on their arms, and they're definitely all Ultramarines, I want them to be playing them as Ultramarines from a narrative and immersion perspective. But that person might not be at that event for narrative and immersion. They might just be there to play the best that they want, and they might have had a recent Space Marine release, which is Iron Hands, and that might be the new strongest thing out there. Should they be allowed to play that because they want to be playing the competitive scene rather than the narrative scene? That's a really hard one. Really, really hard one. Who buys the core rules? They're free. GT pack has all the rules, and that's only £25. Yeah, yeah. And if you do buy the GT, or you've got the 2020 GT pack, you can go on over to Hellstorm and check his update video where you don't actually have to buy the new one because not that much changed. That was another. I love Games Workshop. I'm not being salty. Why did they change from Ringbound, which was really nice, to a hardback book? Like, not a hardback book, but a hard spine. Brom, tell me what the spine is. You work in fucking print or something. I thought, why did they change it? And Chris has said afterwards in a handy format too. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Datsun says just turn it off. Yeah, I need to turn the bots modding off. Right, I'll work out how to do that. An immersive world crafter says if you want some mod help, I can be available every Monday. I'm just reading out your application to the world. So yeah, DM me. I love the Concave podcast. That's great. Quips, I love your work on Insta. Makes me very jealous. I hate Alex on Instagram. There you go. I've said it. I just don't have the. What's the word? The stamina to kick out the amount of Instagram content that he does, and he does such great work on Instagram. I hate it. But good work. Go and follow Quips the Nerd on Instagram because he's a legend. Isn't it a copyright law thing? You have to be seen to be defending your IP in order to retain control. The laws weren't designed for a digital age. This is another thing, right? I think it was what's the painter's name? There's a painter who I'm forgetting his name now. There's a painter. There's a painter out there. Daz Latham had a YouTube channel. That's his name, and he was told to shut it down. I don't get Games Workshop. Again, I'm not sure I understand Games Workshop's need to shut down every single individual who's got a YouTube channel who happens to work for them. Surely that's more positive advertising. As long as they're bound by the terms of their contract that they can't bring the company into disrepute, I don't understand why they would need to shut their YouTube channel down. Do you think Games Workshop will release a new faction in 9th from Jack Moore? Depends on what you mean by a new faction. Do you mean completely new race? I don't think they will. Do you mean new faction where they do things like break out in the path they've broken out Death Guard and Thousand Suns? There's precedent there. They'll do it. I'm sure they'll do it again. So just some more talk about trademark. If they made a box set with extra regiments in it, you could theoretically set all the spares that works for everyone. Sell the spares. Yeah, I guess you could. Do you think that with the release of Scion rules from the Greater Good, do you think Scions will get either a separate codex or a supplement? I'd kind of like them to see them in a supplement, although I'm conscious that's rules bloat, and I don't like rules bloat, so I'm not sure. GW doesn't use lube in the land down under. I mean, that's clear, right? $200 for rules. They definitely do not lube up. Was it because of the soundtrack that was changed to put it on Games Workshop's website? So yeah, they I don't know if that was because of the soundtrack, but they did change the soundtrack, which again I think was a negative move. Like, that soundtrack worked well, and then they changed it, and it wasn't quite the same. I never understand that. Ginger Steve says, I love the work you do, but you're wrong as Blade Guard. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan. They're lovely models. I just don't think they're the best thing I've ever seen Games Workshop do. I think they're good. I think they're very Templar-y. I think they suit Templars more than they suit generic Space Marines, is my opinion. I'd love a version of Blade Guard that are less covered in totems and purity seals, just an elite melee infantry, more like the company champions. See? Like I've just said, current Blade Guard are too Templary. Should have just been Templars. Not fussed by Blade Guard. I think you just killed Reza. Yeah, but I also told him he was my favourite ads, so, you know, that's what it is. It says quips the nerd late as usual. Yeah, don't. So Jeremy agrees on the Blade Guard front. He wants them to be less totemy so they can fit in other armies. And Richard said there's no words to describe it. I will look deep into the camera and say, I love you, Rich. There you go. Is that made up for it? It has already been said that, then sorry, but what's your view on the new 30k release and the rumoured new plastic Forge World tanks? I love the idea of new plastic Forge World tanks if they get dropped with 40k rules as well. I'm not so fussed about 30k as an addition. I know there's a load of chat online on Twitch and not on Twitch, sorry, on Twitter and places like that about the current rule set for 30k. So I think the current rule set is like still 7th edition. And there's a lot of people out there that are saying that actually they should keep that base set of rules so it's different enough to 40k, and I think I'd kind of welcome that. This is interesting. I want them to update the rules. I want them to improve the rule set, but I like the idea that 30k is a different rule set to 9th edition. So if they change 30k's rules to just completely bring it in line with 9th edition, then I'm not interested, because I've got 9th edition, so why would I need that? That doesn't bother me at all. If they don't, if they have a separate rule set for 30k which is different to 9th edition, I may have some interest. But I also think that I probably get the fix that I need from 40k, and if I was going to do another rule set, I'd play AOS. Especially with 3rd edition on the line, I think I'd probably go down that route instead. I'm not sure. You paint models faster than Alex, Liam. I'm sorry, Andy H. I'm sorry. That's not true at all, because Alex has got models on Instagram that he's painted, and I don't. So he beats me. He wins on that one. The more employee channels are more polished than the official content. I know they are. So look at this, right? Look at this stream. This is a live stream, okay? As I'm sure you guys are all aware because you're watching it live. So if you're not watching this live and you're watching this on YouTube as a video on demand afterwards, then you can join this live 21:30, 9:30 UK time every Monday, and we'll be doing this and chatting to you guys. And actually, now I'm chatting to the chat more than trying to do my professional presenter piece. I'm enjoying it more. But this is a live stream. I don't work for Games Workshop. This isn't my full-time job yet. I think I probably beat the Warhammer TV live stream on Twitch in terms of quality. I'm throwing it out there. I haven't spent millions of pounds. Now, when COVID first hit, and poor old Eddie Eccles and the other guy, Adam Troke, were in their bedrooms for the first release after COVID hit, I genuinely forgave them. I thought, like, you know what? You've been chucked. So have so many people across the globe been chucked in the deep end. You're now working from home. Over a year on, the same webcams covered in Vaseline or spunk or something, the same shitty microphones. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for someone in Games Workshop not putting their hands in their pockets and buying them a decent camera each, a decent microphone each, and that's all they needed. It's nothing. It's nothing more than that. A little bit of work goes into their layout so it looks nicer. Yeah, that's lazy. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of Adam and Eddie anyway as presenters. This is just my personal opinion, and nothing against the guys. You know, they've been given, I think they're frequently dealt shit hands, and they have to try and sell it and make it super hype, and everyone be really excited about this thing that we've shown you a few weeks ago, but because of COVID, this is the best we've got. I genuinely feel really bad for them, but they're not the most dynamic in terms of presenters, are they? They haven't got the best charisma, shall we say. I do think they're perhaps made for television. I think if you're the type of player who wants to play the strongest faction at the time, you should get your models painted in a very generic paint job with no allegiance to any faction, a vanilla faction as it were. Then it would fit better with my want for narrative. Yeah, 100% with you on that one. If you are that kind of competitive player who wants to flick between different armies, yeah, do what you want. Paint it something generic. Don't paint it Blood Angels. Don't paint it Space Wolves. Paint it generic. Run it as whatever you want. I'm sure most people will be okay with that. Joker Hair Quipster. Quipster is a legend. I don't like this love for Quipster. I'm not a fan of this right now. When would you like to see DZTV invest in their own bricks and mortar? Oh, please don't. I would do that yesterday if we could. DZTV. If you guys don't know what deploymentzone.tv is, then the bot has been chucking the link in, but you can just head on over to www.deploymentzone.tv and the website will load and you will be greeted with this Netflix type of website with loads of content in there. It's a crazy beast at the moment and we're doing tons of work, and I have genuinely, honestly forfeited how soon I've got out of the factory so that we can support other content creators in creating content and getting stuff out there. In fact, the DZTV support that we gave Play On is the reason why Nick, who is their editor and resident Tau player, was able himself to get out the factory and edit full time. Like, I'm super proud of us for doing that. That's amazing. And we're trying to get that balance right. And Jay Winters and I have spoke about when we would have a centre, a studio, a place for people to come and hang out. We want to do that. Definitely want to do that, but the world's not cheap. I have children. I need to be sensible. Like I've said a couple of times during the stream so far, these streams, I'm hoping if we can get super chats going, I'm hoping if we can get people joining the channel, I'm hoping if we can get people subscribing on Twitch, etc. The hope is that these streams can add that cushion for me so I'm not so frightened about leaving my full-time job because I look after my children and I support them and I support my wife. So then, once that's happened and stabled, then we're going to be looking at where we put DZTV on the map as a physical location. Immersive Worldcraft, it could be like a Black Ops faction of whatever Legion. Yeah, okay, so he's talking about the custom paint schemes again. I agree. Old Man Arcanor? Yeah, I don't get that. You see all these reaction videos to Astartes from people who don't know what 40k is. It's free advertising and they decide to throw it behind a paywall. I don't even mind them taking him and putting some of his future or most of his future content behind that paywall. I don't mind them saying, you know what, let's rip you away from your full-time job and we'll pay you a decent wage so that you can create this content for 40k. Still, you can do your YouTube stuff. So because that's the hype train, right? That gets people wanting to come and that's amazing stuff. Why would you do that? And then I don't get it. Millions and millions of views on YouTube gone with a shitty video saying, "Oh, now I work for Games Workshop." And great, I'm glad, I'm pleased for him, genuinely pleased for him. But you know, I'm not sold on that as a move. Just my own preference there, I guess. Their soundtrack was from the Dread movie, hence the change. Okay, but again, does it harm them if he's got it? I'm not sure that harms them at all if they left it on his YouTube channel. They didn't need to put that behind their own paywall. Why paint your Space Marines in a chapter that all know about? If you want to play the latest best thing, exactly, don't. Paint them as Deathwatch and then you can be whoever you want. No, Andy, you have to be Deathwatch. I agree on the Blade Guard from Bristol Chess Times. That's why we're friends, because you agree with me. That's how we become friends. Ask Brom. We become friends because people agree with me. Well, one bit of the soundtrack. Okay, yeah. There's a few people said the soundtrack's from Judge Dredd. I've not seen the film. Wait, aren't Blade Guard just the new Stern Guard? They're just as trinkety. Were Stern Guard as trinkety as Blade Guard? I don't think they were quite as bad, to be honest with you. Ginger Steve, I might be a Templar man. Maybe the other Marine players just hand their Blade Guard over to me and redistribute to Dawn's most zealous sons. Templars are cool though, right? Could just paint them as Grey Shield. Yeah, cool. Jeremy says he plays AOS. I have no idea if, and it's again full-time dream, right? When we get full-time 40k on the go here in Liam HQ, I want to start mucking around with AOS and learning how to play AOS as well. Toys to the Toy Guy says I'm not watching this live. Thanks. Didn't ask. If you like them blue, just leave out the toilet seat. Sorry, I shouldn't call them that. It's not funny. It's not funny. I just like to abuse Brom. That's the only reason why I call them toilet seats. I get that some people will be offended by the phrase toilet seat Marines, and I'm going to stop it right now. As a streamer that provides a high quality stream, I can't believe how behind those two are. Jay, you provide a high quality. I'm joking. Jay's stream is amazing. If you guys are watching this and you haven't watched live streams before, or you don't follow anyone on Twitch, head on over to Twitch and go and follow Mohawk Minis. Jay streams really frequently, like 4 times a week. And how so I'm sat here, right? I've got my restream chat in front of me, which shows me both my Twitch and YouTube chat. I've got some other things sat around, so if people do things like follow or subscribe, little alerts pop up and they show me on screens, and I've been really shit at reading them out, so I'm really sorry. So I need to get better so people are encouraged to do things like super chat. And I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment because I'm getting used to it. I've got buttons here, and I haven't yet used my screen share button, which allows me to put the 40k website up, for example, and sketch. I set all it up, and I was playing with it pre-stream, going, yeah, this looks really sweet. We've got to stream. I'm going, I just want to concentrate on reading the chat for this couple of first few, and that's it done, and then leave it there, right? How he is able to paint miniatures to the standard that he paints miniatures whilst also reading and responding to the chat and providing a high quality live stream. I don't he must be a woman. That multitasking is incredible. Toys for the Toy God, Waller, you haven't answered my WhatsApp. I think he blocked you ages ago, Darren. I think he changed his number. I'm sure he changed his number. The hair alone is better than what Warhammer. This I cut this on my own. I know, you can tell. Eccles and Troke was shafted having to sprinkle glitter on turd and pretend it's awesome. So I agree, right? Massively agree with that. Like, the recent Warhammer Fest was a crock of shite for 40k releases, and what they did was they managed to show us on stream model ranges that they'd already shown us in the community page. Thanks. I don't know why I tuned in. What a waste of my life. And Adam and Eddie, as Games Workshop employees, had to sit there and be super hype about it and go, look how amazing this is. Yeah, it wasn't. Hair swoop on point, yeah. I'll keep trying. Adam Troke has got yeah. I think what Jay's saying is he's not a Troke fan. Sorry, Adam, if you're watching this, you probably are. Most of the Games Workshop employees watch our stuff. I'm sorry, he's not a fan. The quality of Duncan Rhodes' painting can have been trash as Warhammer painting videos too. Do you know what? I haven't watched Duncan's Academy painting tutorials yet. That's a lie. On YouTube I have. I haven't watched the ones behind the paywall. I'm assuming they're the same. On YouTube I've watched them. Yeah, I love Peachy too. Peachy's he's a semi-decent presenter. He's not Duncan though, is he? He's not Duncan. I'm excited to see your crons finished. So I've been painting some, and I wonder if my camera's actually gonna let me do this. It probably isn't. I've been painting some crons. I've actually got paint on models. So there you go. Thanks for the follow, Krabby Owl, you legend. And I've actually been I don't know if it will show you. It'll probably blow it out. I've been blending the blades as well. Look at that. I've actually been blending stuff. That's madness for me. Absolute madness. What WhatsApp? I'm down with all the love for me in the chat at the moment. I'm sure you are. If there's one thing, so Adam, in case there's any ladies watching the stream, Alex is single, and I maintain that one of the reasons why Alex is single is because there's no one out there that can love Alex as much as Alex loves Alex. There's a DZTV WhatsApp. There is a DZTV WhatsApp. It's got all the cool kids in it, like Say Hi Paul and Rob Not Steve and Steve Not Rob. Some decent lighting and sound as a minimum. Upgrading the cameras and investing in the backdrops and streaming areas I expect. See, even the backdrops. So the backdrops in their homes, they're not that bad, right? They've got like boxes of models and stuff, and they've got shelves and whatever. I mean, you can see the white gaps there, right? That wall that looks like an old-fashioned wall is just a sticker that I did badly. It wasn't expensive. There's a little bit of glow there because the wife left the lamp on her desk. That's it. That's the only reason why that's there. That wasn't intentional. I didn't notice until I went live that was there. Otherwise, that's all that was. That's all this background is. I've got a camera that it's decent, I won't lie, but it's not stupidly expensive. I've got a key light, which you can pick up off Amazon, and I've got a good microphone. Now, all in all, if you take the light, the camera, the microphone, the mount, I mean, honestly, you're talking less than £3,000 for a setup here, and I've gone over the top, and I'm conscious that I've gone over the top for this setup because I wanted these streams to be really, really good, and I want my content to be high quality. But that's the point, right? If you're in content creation, you want your content to be quality, you spend a little bit of money, it pays dividends in the long run. They didn't need to spend this much money, and they could have improved their stream by 100%. So Waller can't find this. The drama between Waller and Toys for the Toy God is expanding in the YouTube chat. Waller can't find the WhatsApp. Now that confirms that he's possibly changed his number or deleted him off or blocked him off WhatsApp. So there you go. Andy says I should put the kids in the factory. I probably should. Yeah, you're right. Adam says subscribe to DZTV if you can. Oh, thanks, mate. Subscribe to DZTV if you can. Great community and helps make content like this. Going to need to be a lot more click. I don't want to be clickbaity. I refuse to be clickbaity for super chats though. I want people to super chat or subscribe or join the channel simply because they want to, No other reason than just because they want to support. And if I can get to a point where things like the sub goal is a lot higher than the 2 subs that are there, then I'm more than, that in the end is going to support me and get me out the factory. But I'm not gonna push people to do that unless they just genuinely want to. People want to support, they can support. Otherwise, if no one supports this stream, if no one super chats, if no one subscribes, if no one joins the channel, guess what? I'm still going to do it every Monday because I like talking to you guys. There's no pressure there whatsoever. That's it. So if you guys do support it, maybe in the future I can get to 2 or 3 times a week. Just saying. Gonna need Chatting 40k is a cute name. I know it's bad, isn't it? Chatting 40k, it's not great. I forgot that was up there when I was making the stream yesterday, and the idea was I was supposed to change that title each time so that I could have it relevant, so people could join in halfway through and know what I'm talking about, and I didn't. Noob move. Wear something low cut. I mean, no one wants to. I could get a nipple out on screen now. I could do that if people want. Cheers for the stream. Great to see you back, Night Buddy. Yeah, thanks so much for the comments and the questions. Absolute legend. And I'm sure I'll speak to you soon, dude. No, I mean, I cannot find the message. Instagram me. It's Wallers40k. Oh, I think Darren, you're talking to a different Waller. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't think it's the Martin Waller that you think it is. That's possibly where the problem is. That's possibly why you can't find your WhatsApp, is because you might be talking to the wrong man. Mohawk Minis, I was a chef. Trumps the women card on multitasking. He was a chef, and he made me a lovely meal on Thursday, and I felt bad because I didn't even put out. 100% follow Mohawk Miniatures. I've just had the most amazing lesson with him, learning to paint the most amazing power swords. Brilliant teacher, incredible guy. I was in his place on Thursday looking at some of the stuff he's done. Wow. I want to commission him to do something, but I can't afford him. He's too expensive for me. But that's because I'm cheap and he does super high quality. Krabby Owl says, what's up, dude? Hope you're well. I'm amazing. I mean, I was supposed to be doing this for an hour, and we're nearly an hour and a half, and I'm still plowing through the comments. So this is going well. I'm going to have to at some point turn it off because I've got to drive all the way from Southampton in the UK to Plymouth tomorrow. And in the UK, that's a 3-hour drive and considered long. I know it's considered nothing for you Americans. That's like visiting your neighbour. But yeah, I've got to get across to Plymouth tomorrow and for meetings and stuff with work, which is, I'm trying to get out of the factory. I don't want to be doing that. And Nid's going to be painted by the end of the year. I don't know how I get away with not painting them and don't give Josh the army. Just saying. My partner Kelly just heard your line about Quipsoned loving himself and said it's so true. Yeah, well, yeah. Alex, you should be starting Emperor's Children, not Night Lords. I think he should be doing Emperor's Children as well. To be honest with you, I think Emperor's Children is where he should go. Hello, jump from YouTube to Twitch. Legend, thank you. Just so the Twitch thing as well. Jay, what does it take for Twitch to get you to partner? How many regular viewers do you need to have? I think I'm like halfway there. That's it. Haven't you had about 4 to 5 subs tonight? I have had. So subs on Twitch says 2, but there's 2 in the chat. Is there 2? There's 3. So there's 3 in the chat, but my tracker has caught 2. Member on YouTube, we are up at 10 out of the 20 members on YouTube. There you go. I'm so happy, by the way, that I can press a single button on my Stream Deck and it does that. Like, that is... I can't tell you how happy I am about that. I want to show you something else as well, right? So, I've got the Warhammer community page up here. This is fancy, and then I'll come back to the chat in a minute. So what I can do is I can do this, and then it will change screens, and I can show you guys what I'm looking at on my webpage. I could also perhaps click the FAQ button that I made, and it just brings the FAQ straight up. And then what I can also do is press this button, and I come in. Does that not already piss all over Warhammer TV's stream capabilities? I can also turn myself off again. Watch. Bye. But I'm still here. I'm still talking to you. And then we can go back to the main screen, and it will transition across, and I'm here again. See? That's good, isn't it? Right? I just had to show you that because I'm not going to get to use it tonight, and it took me ages to get it all working. And we've got a sub from Immersive Worldcrafter. You absolute legend. Thank you very much for that. Prime sub as well. So in Mikey from Hellstorm's words, you're stealing from Jeff Bezos, which we're all okay with. And we've got a follow as well from Ginger Steve, you hero. GW don't need a quality stream. They get thousands of views in the Amazon subs. It's easy money. Yeah, I guess you're kind of right? I guess you're kind of there with it though, right? And they did this thing. Did anyone? I mean, I'm sure everybody noticed this, right? But subscriber only chat. that in itself was enough to not ever worry about improving your stream quality. Really, like, that is horrendous. Like that, I remember watching the first couple of streams, and to be fair, the chat was chaos, right? The chat was absolute madness, and they sold it like, oh, we've turned the chat to subscriber only so that it's a lot calmer and we can read the chat out. They proceed to never fucking read the chat out at all. And they turn it to subscriber only because it means that loads of people subscribe to Warhammer TV just so they can join the other 20,000 people spamming things all the time and asking for plastic this and plastic that. Yeah, not sold on that one. Follows from Where Are the Fnords and Penvold. So, Legends, thank you very much for the follows. I appreciate it. And Mohawks told me no nipple. It says terms of service, no nipple. So, I'm sorry. You're all going to miss out. And a gifted sub as well from Texan Medic. Absolute legend. Thank you very much for that. Look, it's all kicking off now. That's it. By the end of the week, we'll be full-time 40k. That's how it's going to work, right? Haha, true, it's not that Waller. I'm sure he would have loved to have been that Waller. Sorry. So throughout this chat tonight, Darren, who is friends with Martin Waller, has been trying to get him on YouTube to respond to his WhatsApp, not aware of the fact that he was talking to the wrong Waller on YouTube chat. That's amazing. Bungie 2002, thanks for the follow, man. What a legend. Almost as bad as Fireside Chat. You guys need to work on the names. Bad names aside, the content makes up for it. But surely, like, bad names could be our USP, right? Bad names proving that the content doesn't need to be great. That's our USP. That's what we have to do. As always, I'm late to the party. Enjoyed it though. Well, luckily, Frank, because this is on YouTube, if you've missed the start where I started to try and be super professional and ignore the chat, then you'll realise that stuff's all going to be there. This is going on YouTube unedited, right, as it is. Thanks for the sub, Ginger Steve. A hype train has started. I don't know what that means. I don't know what a hype train means, but there's a level 1 hype train started, and there's 4 minutes left before. But so thank you, people, if that's good. I'm assuming that's good. But yeah, like I said, you guys can watch this on YouTube if you've missed the start of it, and it will stay up on Twitch for a little while. I think it stays on for like a week. He can't show his nipple. It's attached to his left ball and a car battery in preparation for paying the guard army. True. And if you have just joined, then you're not going to be aware as to what that is. And Ginger Steve not only subbed, but you subbed in advance at tier 1 for 2 months. I didn't even know you could do that. Well, what a hero. Quipster just got back from work. I can finally sit and enjoy this. Yeah, you can. And Penfold, subscribe to Twitch Prime. You guys are throwing it at me now. I feel like I need to be in a G-string and dancing, and you can just like tuck it in. People want to see that? Liam only fans? Maybe? 3 hours is like driving to a good skate park. I tell you, like we were. So I was in. Where was I in? I was in Tucson in Arizona when I was in the forces. And it's a level 2 hype train, by the way. And when I was in Tucson, Arizona, we were talking to some of the locals. Like, we've got some days off. We want to go somewhere cool. Where can we go? And they go, go to San Diego. It's just up the road. Just up the road, San Diego. Like 9 hours drive later. 9 hours drive later to go to San Diego. For them, that was just up the road. And it was that point that I realised that we could fit the whole of the UK, I think, pretty much, in Arizona as a state. And I was like, yeah, we're small. It's not, yeah. Quipster loves his FDR references, hence the Fireside Chat. Is that where it comes from? I just thought it was just a shit name. I didn't realise there was an actual reference to it either. Been a while since I've been able to check y'all out. How are the Space Wolves coming? What happens to Space Wolves Army? Oh no, I'm going to have to... I guess now I'm streaming, I'm going to have to go back on painting the wolves, right? Okay. Old Man Arcanor. This is the first Twitch I've ever watched too. I normally watch on YouTube. Cool. I don't care where guys watch it, as long as you guys are enjoying it. That's all I care about. I don't like YouTube, Twitch. I don't know if there's a benefit to doing one or the other. Have no idea. No idea. I just wanted to make sure that if people wanted to watch it, they had access to it. So there you go. We'd welcome Quipster into our fold. I'm sure you would. If you're driving from Southampton to Plymouth, watch out for the druids at Stonehenge. We'll def sub on Twitch when my Amazon thing comes around again. Thank you, you legend. You don't have to. As long as you're here hanging out, that's enough. Like, I'm happy with that anyway. Good night all. Raf, podcast name, Quipster OnlyFans. Do you know, if I did that, I probably would get more views, I reckon. I might. Perhaps I do that. Perhaps I just abuse Alex's name. Looking forward to more of these live streams, you legend. Thanks, Tom, you hero. Tom, I haven't done it yet, have I? Do you want me to do it, Tom? Should I say it? I'm not going to say it unless you don't want me to say it. If you want me to say it, I'll say it. We'll leave it at that. How's your Marine Army going? They're seen on Instagram slowly at the moment. The Marines, I got turned off of them a little bit, but they're there. I've got about 7,000 projects on the go. I just need to work out one to focus on, which I think at the moment is Necrons, and then probably Space Marines, and etc. Loving the high-tech peekaboo. See, it's cool, isn't it? And I had to make it so the picture-in-picture just came on and off the screen at just the right point. That's what I had to do. 7. Why am I reading Nightbot out? I'm getting fatigued now, right? I've just read Nightbot. Sub-only chat is now more GW money grabbing. And this is what I mean about looking after their community. I don't think they do it very well, actually, at the moment. Nice chat, Liam. We'll see you next week. It's 8 AM Australia. It's time to take this kids to school. That sounds like it sucks, but fair play. Thank you for joining us, mate. You're absolute legend. Ginger Screw swapped to the cool kids. What's this? It's just popped up. A follow from Oaken Techie. I think I got that right. This is the worst part about live streaming, reading the names out, the bit I hate the most. Lots of choo-choos in the chat for the hype train, which has got 1 minute 39 left on Twitch. I have no idea what that means. Fireside Chat is an outstanding name for a show. Quips is going to say that because it's his show. If you don't know what we're talking about, Fireside Chat is a thing that is in... Craig Tubb, thank you for joining the channel, you absolute legend, and becoming a member. Fireside Chat is a podcast that sits within the DeploymentZone.tv platform. And I think there's one coming to YouTube soon as well with a special guest on it. So if you want to know what it looks like, wait. I think Winters has put one on YouTube. If you enjoy it, there's a number more in DeploymentZone.tv. But if you want to take the plunge and have a look at DZTV anyway, the bonus is now we have recently turned on a 7-day free trial. So if you click to join the 7-day free trial, you get 7 days for free, and if you don't like it, you cancel before those 7 days, you don't pay a penny. You've got to go and have a look, and you can look at Alex's wonderful face in the Fireside Chat. Thank you for the sub with Twitch Prime, the Judge PPM. You've just boosted the hype train back up, and for Marcellus Rex, I'm going to say Marcellus Rex. You've boosted that hype train up to 78%. I don't know what that means. I'm excited by it, but I don't know what it means. Don't sell yourself out like Valrak. You don't need to. Does Valrak sell himself out? Does he do that? Don't know. Beppin Man, thanks for the sub. The Twitch hype train's at 100%, and it's showing me a happy banner. I don't know what that means. DZTV hot tub stream next. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, we need to do that. We Hesse subscribe with Twitch Prime 2. Hero, thank you very much. Level 3 hype train, 5 minutes to go. Son of Olympia, it was crazy during the Warhammer World stream how many people were pissed and letting them know in the chat about Kerr City. Yeah. And they ignored the lot. Did you notice that as well? They didn't even respond to that. Didn't talk to their audience at all. Just shut it down. Didn't pay attention. Is that the right move? I'm not entirely sure that that's the right move. I want to know what happened to his Space Wolves. So I'm bad. I'm really bad at starting things and not finishing them, and I'm very conscious of that. And I'm conscious of that with this channel. I'm conscious of that with YouTube. I'm conscious of that with the way it looks to you guys. Very conscious of it. This is an honesty moment. I don't like doing honesty moments. I like joking around. This is an honesty moment. I don't like doing it at all. I'm really bad at starting things and then not following them through. And I've decided that one of the ways in which I'm going to get to a point where I can go full-time and do this full-time is to start committing to things and actually seeing them through to the end. And this is part of that, right? This live stream's part of that. By removing the editing burden, by removing the post-production burden, I feel like this makes this easier, better to keep it going. And actually, talking to you guys in the chat is some of the most fun I've had making content in a long time. So that's a bonus, right? We need to get you on the Fireside Chat, Liam. We do need to get on the Fireside Chat. Before I moved this month, it was a 6.5 hour drive to my parents' house. Oof. Oaken Techie, sub, legend, thank you very much. Subbing at tier 1, hero. Apparently there's different tiers. Can you tell that I'm a pro at this? When is Curse City coming back? I don't think it is it? I think that was it. I think they did a limited run and it's not happening again. The UK fits into Texas 5 times over and has 1/5 of the population, so all of America could live in Texas and live like we do. I can see why they don't. Yeah, I would happily move to the United States. Just saying. I'd have to drive an hour either way to possibly play 40k. That's quite a way. I mean, I'm driving an hour to hang out with Stephen Box, and that's considered really far. So yeah, that. Are you still releasing Curse City add-ons? It said it would in the marketing. Me? Am I releasing Curse City add-ons? I'm not. I rushed home from work just for the stream. Legend. Thanks, Son of Olympia. Not even 9 hours. That's more like 11 hours. Hot Tub 40k streams. Hot Tub meta. Perhaps that's what happens when we have the DZTV actual studio. Once we build it, maybe one of the streaming rooms is just me and Winters in a hot tub. We could do that. Maybe. Should we check the... I tell you what we should do now. Is calm down. I don't know how quickly it's picked it all up. Check the sub goal. Stage 1 of the sub goal completed, which was due to be completed by the 30th of June. Let's check the member goal. 11 on each. It's drawing. The member goal, I set it higher because I already had 8 when we started. So, YouTubers, you're letting everyone else down. I'm just saying. Mind you, on Twitch, you can do it for Prime for free, right? So, Alex says Space Wolves are never coming. I can tell you what, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I get Jay to do the Space Wolves for me. Jay, are you up for doing a Space Wolf army so I can play Space Wolves on DZTV and YouTube? Let me know. Hit me up on WhatsApp. Let's see if we can get that organised and sorted. I've got some stuff to do. I've got some stuff we can put together. I'll send some models your way. Let's have a chat about that, and let's see if we can get a Mohawk miniatures Space Wolf army for DZTV and for me. I'm up for that. I'm game for it. Let me know. With all these subs and stuff as well, right? It's the least we can do for people is put a Space Wolf army together and finally get there. Tom says, please, by all means. So Helveticus Gaming. I'm sure it's helveticusgaming.com or .co.uk. Tom has just started to supply gaming products and produce to the wider world. If you check out helveticusgaming.co.uk.com, I can't remember which one it is. I'm sure he'll put it in the chat. Tom, please, whenever you're watching these streams, feel free to put it in the chat. Currently, he sells things like battle mats and other bits and pieces, some terrain and stuff like that. If he can start generating some revenue, if his store starts to do quite well, he then looks to store and stock Games Workshop products. So please go and check out Helveticus Gaming. He's on Twitch as well. Twitter, Instagram. So many platforms. The content is way better than the name. I hope that means this one as well. Hype Train complete at level 2. Your community contributed to a total of 9 sub gifts and 0 bits. What's bits? Do I want to know what that is? No breaks in this Hype Train. You guys are heroes. I've never... I mean, the last time I did Twitch was like 2 years ago. I never knew what that was before, so... Have some of Jeff Bezos' money, thank you. I shall join in on that tub stream. No, you won't. Because you just ruin it for everybody else. Curse City, in my opinion, it's the only move they have when Hasbro copyrighted them with their new Hero Quest release. Put painted count on screen. I mean, I could do it, right? Because it's a fixed number. That's the bonus. DZTV member, also brilliant content. Thanks, man. Absolute hero. Absolute legend. More fun talking to us than filming with Brom. Don't tell him. But, yeah. Most fun I've had making content in a while. Do you know what? That game with Brom, the actual game itself that's going to be on DZTV isn't the best. But in terms of playing it, loved it. In terms of actually making the content and editing it, took me 3 days. Loved it. Love ECP. There's a hot tub, mate. There's a hot tub. There's no hot tub meta. They all start doing ASMR and got banned. Brilliant. DZTV streamer house. Yeah. Mohawk, is that you saying yes to play it in Space Wolves? Cool. Let's do that. Did no one tell you you're in charge of Curse City and Games Workshop have abandoned it? Yep, cool, I'll take it on. Actually, no, I won't. There's a lot of hate for it. I'm not doing that. And I think we're probably... I'm going to have to... I need to go to bed. I've got a long drive tomorrow. So I'm getting to the point where I think we're actually catching up to the end of the chat finally. It's taking me long enough, but we're getting there. That'd be brilliant to see some berserkers in the tub or something. How about a great unclean one in a hot tub? Like a real great unclean one in a hot tub? Or... a model. But yeah, DZTV members sitting inside need to get a game. Haven't played a game in 9th. Dude, 9th is actually really good as a core rule set. Like, as a core rule set, it's the best. No need to call me out with a description of what I look like getting in the pool. Brilliant. Adam, you're not a great and clean one. You're not a great and clean one at all. Anyway, right, look, I'm going to kill it. This has been incredible. We did do a lot talking about the models, actually, in the end, which I was worried about because we started strong. We then went off a complete tangent, and we came back to it. And I feel like that's kind of like what this used to be. Like, that's what this channel was all about in the start. And we're going back to roots, but we're doing it live. This has been an incredible experience. Like I said, just to show off again, the sub goal has gone incredibly. Like, I set stage 1 for June, I'll set stage 2 for July, and I'm going to keep picking the goal up and making it bigger each month, in the hope that perhaps this can be the extra piece that gets us out of that factory. So massive thank you to everyone who subbed on Twitch. You absolute legends. Hopefully we can push this to partner and all sorts. And Scrivo's just subbed again, 12 subs on Twitch. Scrivo, you legend. What a hero. I think I need to put a Discord link in Twitch as well. Same with the members that joined us on YouTube tonight. You absolute heroes for joining the channel. You don't get much from me at the moment. You get more from joining DZTV. I absolutely urge all of you to join DZTV if you like the content. We have just turned on the feature in DZTV to do live streaming as well. Have not played with it yet, but Brom and I are planning to just live stream a battle report in Deployment Zone. Heard it here first. Live stream battle reports in Deployment Zone. Thanks for the follow. Dodge him ram her. Yeah, I said it right? Said it right. So we're going to have live stream battle reports, 1 a month live stream battle report in deploymentzone.tv. We're going to go up to the guys at Vanguard Tactics and use their streaming setup. He's offered it to us once a month because he's an absolute hero and an absolute legend. So if you want to see those, you need to be a DZTV member. I'll let you know when the first one's going to go live, and you guys can sign up just before that for your 7-day free trial. Watch it for free the first time. I urge people to use 7-day free trial. Watch it for free. Watch any of the content for free for the first 7 days. If you enjoy it, think about sticking around and staying a member of deploymentzone.tv. I'm sure you guys will enjoy all the content. We're just launching the Gehenna campaign. The Gehenna campaign is a community campaign where you guys can basically play games, submit results, and it will affect the outcome of what happens in the Gehenna system. I'm super excited for that to go live as well. And now that COVID is starting to disappear and things are starting to lift and restrictions are starting to go away, there'll be more games, more events, lots more things coming to DZTV. Thank you everyone who subbed on Twitch. Thank you everyone who's joined the channel. Thank you to the super chats that happened, although there was only 2 or 3 of them. You guys are heroes. Thank you so much for the super chats. I'm super excited about next Monday at 9:30 and every Monday from now on. And actually, I'm thinking also about bonus streams on the last Friday of the month. Just thinking about it. Oh yeah. And Dats and Des is everyone. We've updated the deploymentzone.tv apps on iOS and Android. They're really good now. They're like a 40k app, but that works. Amazing, right? Amazing. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Please share it when the video is live on YouTube. Get more people to come next week. Encourage your friends to join. Create accounts for your dog. Dats and Des. Create an account for his dog, and his dog follows me as well. So you should all do that. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you all next week.